motivates me is being successful. I don't want to come second. I always want to be number one. This sport's taken me far beyond anywhere I thought I'd be. In the ring, it's all business. I learned from an early age that it's not about point sparring, it's about doing as much physical damage onto someone before they do it onto you. If you'd have told me to sleep outside in the dirt, and I would have done it, just become a world champion. What makes a world champion is determination and never giving up on your dreams, having that one dream, set the goal high and just not stopping until you achieve it.
We're going to be covering partner drills, defense and counters. Partner drills are a great way of getting muscle memory. So we're on the ring sparring and fighting, you're not losing precious seconds thinking about what to throw next, otherwise you might lose that opportunity. I have a few of my fighters here in the gym today to give us a hand. Angie's up there ready to go, so let's go up and I'll introduce you. I'd like to introduce you to my wife, Angie Parr, who's a former Muay Thai world champion. If you've got a partner or a mate at home, grab some gloves and we're going to go through some drills, so let's go have some fun. The first drill we're going to begin with is just the jab into each other's glove. Hand's going to be up, placing the glove on their hand first, taking half a step back so we have our range, pushing off our back leg, delivering and come back out. Angie will go next and coming back out. So from here we're nice and relaxed and moving around like a little bit of a spar, so we're not just standing on one spot and being robotic. From here, so coming through, bang, bang, change the angle, Angie steps in, just taking in turns, bang. Exploding off that back leg and then pushing off the front leg to get out of the range, to get out of danger. We can do exactly the same thing with the double jab as well. Hands are up, pushing through, and back out again. Making sure not to hurry the jab, bringing it all the way back to the guard before we throw our second. Speeding up a little bit. We've got our footwork happening for our double jab. Exactly the same for the triple, except for we're going to be doing the quarter turns. Coming through, reloading every time. 1, 2, 3. Making sure the right hand's locked up the whole time as well, so you're not coming through pumping. Bam, bam, bam. Good defense. A little faster again. We've warmed up our body with the jabs and the double jabs, triple jabs. Let's start warming up the shoulders with the right. From here, we're not going to use much of a footwork. We're just getting the hips and shoulders nice and relaxed. Coming through, full extension on the right hand, just back to the guard. If you can, try not to throw the punch too short, nice and long, so that shoulder's almost touching the cheek as you're punching, so you're getting full range on your shot. If you want to make it a little bit more snappy, we're still just warming up, so we'll go with 1-2s now. We'll place the hands on the gloves, half a step back, coming through a 1-2. Both punches nice and long, coming through. Not trying to make it too robotic, so we take our time, we deliver, up. From here, I don't have to come back straight away, I can take my time, stalk, nice and fast, and back out again. Stalking. The beauty about working with a partner, unlike the pads, is that you have someone in front of you staring at you. They're constantly moving their range, so you always have to readjust to make sure your punches land nice and solid. The faster you can explode off that back leg, the less chance your opponent's going to have a chance to block it. So getting used to that explosiveness, pushing in. Next we're going to do some defense work. Angie's going to be throwing jabs at me, and then I'm going to be trying to parry so she doesn't hit me in the nose, which she'd like to, I'm sure. With the parry, we want to try and lock the elbow in so it doesn't move, and we're moving the backhand like a windscreen wiper, trying to catch Angie's wrist in my palm of my hand, just pushing across the side of my face, not going too far that I'm overextending it, just enough so I'm getting back to the guard. We'll come through nice and easy. From here, as I parry the jab, I'm rocking my body back just a little bit, just in case the punch happens to miss my parry. I'm going away from the punch, so I'm taking the parry away. If I keep my head stationary and she hits me like that, it's going to hurt come real fight time. So just getting in the habit of rocking and coming straight back to the guard again. To have a little bit more fun with this exercise, we can move around a little bit, and Angie's not going to be robotic. She's going to throw it whenever she likes, so she can sit there and stalk me, and then throw it and try and tag me. If she wants to throw 2 jabs, I've got to be on nice and fast so I get both of them with my parry. I'm going to come through, 1, 2 again. 1, 2. If I go too slow and I have my hands down, she's going to catch me with the second. So I have to be really fast with my hands. Once you're confident with your parry and making the jab miss, now we're going to start adding the counter. To do this with our partner, we're going to have their backhand up near their face, but they're not going to push their hand in, they're going to leave that there. So after I parry the jab, I'm pushing off my back leg and striving to land on their glove as if it was their head. I push through, push in, and back out. The only way I'm going to achieve this is I push off my back leg as much as I can. If I stand in the one spot after I counter the parry, I'm not going to be able to reach. From another angle, you'll come over here. I bring my body back for the first part, and then from there I spring off my back leg as I bring my parry back to my guard. So again, I parry and push through and back to the guard. Even without a partner parrying and countering the jab, you can practice this in front of the mirror or when you're shadowboxing. Just coming through, backhand up, rocking the body back with the parry. As the hand comes back, pushing off the back leg. You notice there's no 2 actions, it's all flows. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Very important to get this hand back to the guard. As soon as you've done the parry, coming through and using that rocking motion with your legs. Rocking, pushing through, and back out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The more you bring your body weight onto that back leg, the harder you can spring off it to add your own jab for the counter. Once you've had fun with the parry and the counter, we can experiment a little bit in the mirror with our shadow boxing or even the lounge room. Just coming through, we can either come back with a single, come back with a double jab, come back with a 1-2, or another 3 or 4 punch combo. 1, 2, 3, 4, all off the parry, so everything flows. Make them miss first, make them miss, coming through, boom, add your own. Parry, 1, 2, hook. Parry, 1, uppercut, hook, straight. Parry, jab, elbow. Whatever they miss, bang, make them cop it. Boom. Up, boom. Parry, parry, 1, 2, 3. Parry, parry, boom. Parry, up, parry, boom, boom. In front of the mirror or in shadow boxing, it's always good to not only practice your attacks, but your defense and counters as well. From here, we're gonna just block off the lead leg, up, and just coming back with our own. And back to the guard again. Blocking strong, keeping good balance, just coming straight behind, kicking through nice and strong, and back to the guard. If you like to have a slight pause in between the block and the kick, it's even better. That way you're working your balance at the same time. Block, hold, from there, switching, kicking nice and fast, and back. Same off the back leg, blocking strong, coming through, springing off that back leg, back to the guard again. Block, spring, and back. I'm not in a hurry to block and put the foot down. Hold it up, keep that balance, try not to sway either way. Leg comes straight back. As soon as that foot touches the ground, bang, nice and fast. Up, boom, back to the guard. Block, boom, and back. Either side, up, bang, back. 1, 2, and back. In my shadow boxing, my invisible partner is going to attack me with a lead front kick. I come through, I'm bringing my fingers all the way to the floor. As the kick comes, I'm pushing my hips out and sliding the kick away to the side of my body. Once it's reached the side, the kick's pretty much missed. As the hand comes back, I'm changing my legs, twisting the top half of my body, and now I'm going to add to the counter. And coming through, and back to the guard. Just 1, switch, kick, and back to the guard. 1, 2, and 3. Just like our parry and jab, it's the same motion again. There's no pause in between the parry and then switching. You want to try and make it nice and flow. Boom, boom, and back. A great technique that my trainer taught me in Thailand, Sang Tin Noi, was how to parry their jab and come through with a long knee of our own. From here, the elbow's locked in, we push their hand out of the way. Now, at the same time as I take a step forward, I'm going to bring my other hand around the back of their neck. From here, once I've secured their neck, I'm going to pull in their neck slightly at the same time as delivering, so my knee meets them in the center. 1, step and grab, kneeing into the body, and back to the guard. Step, bang, knee, and back. From another angle, I'm pushing the jab out of the way. I've come through, I've grabbed the neck, and then striking into the midsection, and back to the guard. Step, grab, knee, and back. Once again, this technique's flowing from one to another without any pause. 1. This one's good to practice over and over again, just in front of the mirror. You don't need a partner for this one. Once you feel happy with it, and then we'll incorporate the partner. For these next few defense exercises, I'd like to introduce Thor Hoopman, who's my current world champion here at Boonshu. First, we're going to work on our guard to make sure that we don't get punched in the face. So to start off with, we're going to bring our hands nice and close, leaving the knuckle parts on our forehead. Wrists and elbows nice and close, so we're just looking through that little gap in between our hands. With the wrist, we're not keeping the wrist straight, otherwise if we face a hard punch and we get hit, we're going to hit ourselves in the face, and that's just as bad as getting punched by someone else. So we lock our wrists out at 90 degrees as much as we can, just like a bridge, so when we get hit, it's nice and strong. A lot of people's automatic reaction as when they get punched is to pull their hands out, and that's just going to open up openings for your opponent to land with hooks or uppercuts, and that's the last thing we need. So always try and nice and tense, let them do their business, and then back to relax so you're saving energy. So we just go through with a couple with Thor. So just coming through, taking turns, 3 or 4 punches at a time, coming back out. try and have a little bit of fun with it. A little bit like a spar, so you're moving through, delivering, stepping back out. Not too hard, but just going through the motion, just so you're not blinking. Hooks, uppercuts, trying to throw different combinations, keeping good technique the whole time as you're throwing. When I'm using my defense, I'm also have my chin as close as I can to my chest and my shoulders up nice and high, so I'm protecting my jaw so I don't get knocked out. We've had a little bit of fun hitting each other. Now we're gonna get a little bit more serious. From here, I'm just gonna throw multiple jabs. When I throw my multiple jabs, same as when we did our shadow boxing, I've come through with the jab, I've pulled the shoulder all the way back and pushing through. I'm gonna punch a little bit harder, not too hard where I'm trying to hurt him, but enough where he gets the feel of the punch to make sure that his guard's working effectively. So from here, I come through, so if I throw 3, 1, 2, 3, Thor will come back at me now. It might look like you're telegraphing, but as you're pulling all the way back, if he happens to bring his hands open to think that I'm finished, that's when the power is going to come right through the center. There's no point in landing a good solid first jab and then tippy-tapping with the second. You want every punch as hard as possible. With the right technique, there's no reason why your jab can't be as hard as your right hand. Hey, and try and look after that pretty face of yours. Now we're going to start working on some body rip defense. From here, if I stay nice and straight and Thor steps in, he's going to try and aim right behind my elbow, landing on my floating rib. The best way for me to block this is keep my elbow nice and close to my body, hands are still up nice and high, and just turning the shoulders about 2 to 3 inches. Not dropping the body down. A lot of people when they first start out, when the body rip comes, is they turn away from it, giving them the free shot, and you're gonna go down like a bag of potatoes. So here we come through, locking in, turning around and catch. If you fight someone that knows how to throw a good body rip, they're not gonna throw it at range, they're not aiming for the arm, they're gonna step right in and try and land it flush on that floating rib. So you really gotta turn to catch it. Make sure you tense right up as well, not a loose arm, otherwise you're still going to catch the majority of the punch on your ribs. We'll throw it from the other side here. Off the backhand, same motion, shoulders are square, and just rolling through. If Thor doubles up with the front hand and the rear hand, just nice and fast. Rolling with the punches. Crack, crack, and back out. Crack, crack. Now we've got good body rip defense. Now for the straight punches. Getting hit in the sternum is like the stop button. One good punch there and you're not going to be able to breathe for at least 20 to 30 seconds, and that could end the fight. So having good body protection is very important. Coming through either left or right, I'm just going to try and come through, punching straight in and come back out. To defend that, the hands are up, just bringing the elbows in as close as you can and really stiffening up those arms so the punch doesn't come through. So I'm just coming through, stepping back away. Thor comes in. Now that we've got the straight punches and the rips, we can have a little bit of fun. In class, in Boonshu, I like to take it in turns, single punches, move around a little bit like a spar, and with either hand, I'm either doing a straight punch or a rip, so you never know what's going to come next. When you're doing this, you don't want to punch to their arms either. You want to try and land on their body. That way they know if their blocks are working or not. Because on the ring or in a fight, if you hit to their arms, they're going to have that false sense of security and they're going to think that their blocks are working well when really they're not. If you got one of your mates in the backyard or in the gym, chuck it on the big gloves, the 16, so you've got good protection. Now we're going to have a little bit of fun, just body sparring. No head punches, we don't want to get concussion today. Just working on our defense, making sure that nothing's getting in. And still, even though we're friends, I'm still trying to make it land and not punching to the arms. Straight punches, round punches, doubling up. The best thing to do if Thor's coming through, instead of me just blocking and waiting for him to stop, as he's halfway through a punch, I'm going to start. That's when he's open. That's when I'm going to probably land majority of my shots. Now we've worked our hands, let's work on some long knees. We've come through. A lot of people when they first start out, a lot of people just throw their knees straight up and they use the tip of the knee to spar with and stuff. And this is very dangerous in case you catch a rib or you put a little bit too much power in it, you're gonna have either broken ribs or internal injuries and it's not gonna make sparring any fun at all. The best way to do this, we take a step through and I'm trying to place my foot directly beside Thor's. Once I'm there, I'm bringing my leg all the way out to the side, just like a kick, and I'm coming through and using the top of my thigh to strike with, so it's a nice flat surface. I step in, I come up, landing nice and solid, and come back down. You probably can't see it from that angle, so we'll change over. I step in beside Thor's foot, coming through and in. As you see when I strike, my ankle is pretty much parallel with my knee and the floor, so coming straight through. I'm not coming straight up, I'm coming out. You can do this either side, off the back leg, let's take a step forward, other leg, coming through, and back again. This way I can put it into his body with a little bit of power without hurting him. While fighting as well is a better way of getting more power out of your shot because the hips are right back. I take a step forward to build momentum, and then from there I can really drive off the floor. Come fight time, instead of using the top of the thigh, I bring my heel nice and close to my bum and I'm using the tip of the knee, so I'm driving through his body and trying to touch his backbone. But just training, nice and easy. Now we've had a few practices in front of the mirror and our shadow boxing. Now let's grab a part and we'll go through that step up knee. From here the hands are up. To break Thor's guard, I'm going to come through with an open hand with a thumb and forefinger. I'm going to come around like a hook, catching him on the wrist. But there, I'm pushing the hand out of the way to give me a free shot so he can't come back and hit me with it. I'm going to take a step forward, bringing my back leg beside Thor's front, at the same time coming around and grabbing the neck. Not just using my fingers, but getting my wrist all the way behind, nice and tight. As I execute the knee, I'm going to have a slight pull on the neck, so his body's going to meet me in the middle. Bang. And looking after our opponent again, just the top of the thigh, just like before. So coming through, so one, step, pull, and back to the guard. A little bit faster, 1, 2, 3, and back out. 1, 2, 3. From another angle, I come through, push the hand out of the way, stepping forward, getting that ankle all the way out to the side, driving through nice and strong, and back. Come fight time, I can just change the angle of the knee a little bit, coming through and striking nice and hard with the tip of the knee, so I'm doing as much damage as possible. But with training with a partner, the last thing I want to do is hurt him, because tomorrow I'm going to have to see him. I don't want him angry with me, so I come through, looking after each other and back out. I can even put in a little bit with power and it's not going to hurt him. The hardest part about Muay Thai is learning how to do the proper clinch. From here, we're gonna come through, we're at range. To bridge that gap, not coming in with two hands like Frankenstein, otherwise you could get caught on the way through. Just the lead hand's gonna come through first. I don't wanna come on the outside because it's easy to block. So from here, my hands are nice and tight. I'm gonna bring one hand through and S-bend it past his guard. Once I come through, I'm not stopping at the neck. I'm trying to bring the wrist all the way up to the top of the head. The other hand's gonna follow, and then just one hand on top of the other. From here, if I hold here, I don't have a very good lock. So I want to try and bring it nice and high, and then from there, with my fingers, I can push Thor's head down, and if I want, him in the face. From here, so we're just taking in turns. Once we get the lock on, Thor's gonna hold on to me. That's it, and just taking in turns going through the locks. One hand at a time. You don't want to drop both hands at once, otherwise they can pull you off face down and knee on the nose. 1, 2, locking on, 1, 2. Once you're inside, we can add the knee. A lot of people when they start out, they bring the knee straight up. From here, you're not going to get any power whatsoever. You want to try and bring the leg out to the side and roll it with your hips. Using the inside thigh, not the kneecap, because that way you could cause injuries. Up, in, and back out. 1, 2. This way you can also put in a little bit without hurting each other. Just inside thigh, so it's nice and soft. If you notice how I hit Thor's fatness, it makes a big noise. Now we're going to do a little bit more advanced grappling. From here, it's the same motion as before, with that lead hand coming in through the guard, S-bending through. But now I'm not going to stop at the wrist. I'm going to bring my arm all the way so the elbow locks around nice and deep on Thor's neck. With this other hand, I'm going to lock it underneath and trying to have wrist on wrist. So I've got a good strong guard. I'm not going to break it. I'm not holding my fingers together because in the fight time, you can't lock your fingers because you're wearing gloves, of course. So here, locking through. Once I'm here, I want to try and bring my lead arm over the top of Thor's shoulder, and he's going to do the same to me. Once we're here, it's like a little wrestle. I knee in, legs are back to parallel. Knee, back. Still using that inside thigh to strike with because I don't want any injuries. Okay, have fun with that one. The most fun part of Muay Thai is learning the kicks. I'd like to introduce you to Flip Street. He's my Australian champion and hopefully my future next world champion here at Boonchu. Now we're going to get into just some drills where we're going to warm up the muscles first. We're not going to do any checks. We stand in front of each other and we're just going to take turns at kicking each other with seeing the targets, trying to land the shin nice and flush on the soft parts of the body, whether it be the thighs, up here on the biceps, up on the neck, coming through either side, left and right, and keeping good balance. So I'm not just worried about my targets, I'm thinking about good posture, back to the guard again, not just coming through, falling down. Everything's got to come back to the guard. So we'll just take it nice and easy to give you a quick demo. Trying to make it a little bit like a spar, so you're not just standing in front of each other. Having fun, taking your time. Now that we're warmed up with each other, seeing each other's targets, now we're going to start getting into some defense. From here, standing nice and strong. As you see the kick coming, no gaps, bring the knee up, all up to the elbow, and slowly come back down. The best thing about doing this with a partner is you can get a feel for the kicks as well. So if Flip kicks me, the last thing I want to do is get pushed away. I want to have my blocks nice and solid. From here, we're just going to go up the other side now, exactly the same technique off the back leg. Okay, now that we've got that, now we're going to start having a bit of fun with the technique. From here, we're just going to go one for one, moving around like a spar, but kicking off either leg so you never know what's going to come next. And the best part about this one is we're trying to land for free. I don't want to flip the block and he doesn't want me to block. So you're always wondering what's going to come next. Have a round of that and see how you go. So we've blocked off the lead leg, nice and strong. We've blocked off the back leg, nice and strong. Now, in case you think that the back leg's coming and they kick up the lead, we're gonna do a cross block. So from here, when we block normally, the knees up to the elbow. If you see them kick off their lead leg and you don't have time to bring the back leg up, what you can do is just bring that lead leg just across and lock it into that elbow. So it's still a nice straight line. So if flip kicks left, this way I'm still protecting my body. I'm not taking the brunt of the kick on my ribs. You'd rather get the back leg up to block the kick, but if you don't have time, this is better than getting kicked overall. A little bit hard to counter with this one, but at least you're saving your body. Well, hopefully you got through that last round without getting kicked too much. Now we're going to start getting into some blocking and then countering. So here, instead of going 1 for 1, to make it less confusing, one person's going to attack for the whole round, just seeing which leg comes, blocking strong, countering, come back, and then we'll change over next round. So to start with, Flip's going to attack me. I'm going to block nice and strong. As he brings his leg back, just switching up and kicking up to his biceps and back to the guard again. Hopefully I can try and block and kick him before he brings his own leg back so he's still off balance. To mix it up a little bit this round, we're going to start doing some teep defense. So to start with, Flip's going to throw a lead teep off me. From here, I'm just having my fingers all the way to the floor and using my palm to try and catch Flip's ankle. As the kick comes, I'm just pushing my hips out, keeping my feet stationary, and just using my hips to go with the power of the kick, so I'm taking power away. I'll come back at Flip. Off the other side, off the back leg now. Pushing through off the lead hand. Bang. Once you've got your eye in, now we can start having some fun with it, kicking either leg. So getting ready, nice and relaxed. As soon as you see which leg comes, pushing through. Once you're happy with your parries with the front kick, now we're going to start adding the counters. From here, Flip's going to teep me first. I push it away. Why is off balance? From here, facing the other direction, my body's twisted up. I'm going to switch through and just kicking up to the front side. From here, again, nice and slowly, bang, from there. As I switch through, twisting the hips and shoulders, letting go to the kick, and then back to the guard. Nice and fast. So he doesn't have time to reset and recover. He's just going to take the full brunt of the kick. From another angle, just want to have a look. We'll just go slowly first. I made the kick miss. From here, I'm pushing him so his body's facing at this angle. When I come through, bang, nice free kick. If you find that you're a bit of a stalemate with your partner and you don't know what to throw next, the best way is to just come through an inside thigh kick. If you're outside of range, back leg's going to slide up to the heel, leg's going to come out nice and wide, and we're just going to slap with the instep about 2 inches above the knee where it's nice and soft. You don't want to kick on the knee joint, because if you hit your ankle on the knee and they turn it in and block, your ankle's going to blow out and you're going to have a really hard time standing. So just picking the target, stepping through, kicking out and back in. From there, if they don't react or have no reaction with the defense, we'll come through. We're going to go low, bringing the leg all the way back to southpaw and kicking up to the arms. If you're working with a partner that's a little bit novice, try and get them to tuck their elbows in nice and tight. You don't want to have elbows sticking out in case you kick their elbow again. So coming through and tap, nice and fast, up to the body and back out. If that's easy, we can change it again. Inside thigh, stepping down nice and close, and then gonna fire up the right leg up to the body and back. If you get into a bit of a stalemate with your opponent sparring or on the ring, the best way to bridge the gap is to come through and just inside thigh kick. I'm aiming about 2 inches above Flip's knee, where it's nice and soft so I don't hurt myself. I slide up with the back leg, coming through and striking with the instep, so it's like a big horse bite. Coming through, slapping up, and coming through again. As I make my way in, I'm trying to bring my hand in front of the face. If I bring it down, there's a good opportunity that Flip might come down with the right hand and tag me. So here, as defense, and back out again. As a defense for the inside thigh kick, if Flip comes in, I just come through and I twist my whole body away to make the leg miss and back in again. If I come in for Flip, just sliding away. Twisting the whole body and quickly back to the guard again. I've shown you all the practical techniques, now here's the unpractical ones, but they're fun to learn. We're going to step in our guard, taking a step off our lead leg, and then once we're here, we're going to launch off both legs as high as we can. Once we've reached the top as high as we can, we're going to add the round kick up to the arms. We step down, one, push off, kicking up nice and high. Step, and back. Sorry, Flip. Step. We can do the same thing with a jumping knee. I step down. This time, instead of using both legs, I just launch off the lead. I come through and try and look after my partner. I'm not using the tip, just using the top of the thigh again. Coming through, and back out. Come fight time though, I want to try and do as much damage as possible. So I'm pulling the ankle in nice and tight and using the tip either to the chest or up to the face. Once you've done a few jumping kicks and jumping knees and you're feeling confident throwing them, what I like to do is use them on the ring. When I fight, I like to intimidate my opponent as much as I can with pure aggression. So if I throw a 1-2, I don't just let my opponent get away, I chase him all the way to the ropes. And then from here, once he springs off, I like to jump up nice and high as a bit of a crowd pleaser. So to start off, I'll do a jumping kick. So. And this time we'll do the same thing again with a jumping knee. The best part about Muay Thai is having fun with your friend and just having a light spar. We're not trying to hurt each other. In fact, in Thailand, they don't even use shin pads. They just have good control the whole time. Fast attacks, but they pull at the last second so they don't hurt each other. We want to see each other every day, so the last thing I want to do is Flip hard, have him hit me harder, and then it just escalates into a war. So we just want to have fun, tippy tapping, keeping it about 20%, no harder, and just trying to attack, trying to land, good defense, counters, and main thing, just having fun. Boop, boop. It's all about having fun. Well, that brings us to the end of our second DVD. Keep practicing your drills a couple times a week, and it won't take long before everything moves nice and smoothly and your blocks and counters become automatic. And last thing I can't stress enough is really look after your partner, because you don't want anyone getting hurt. Thanks guys, Sawadi Cup, and I'll see you at the fights. Landing through, coming up, and down.
Is that what we want? Nah. Just stay there.
Come on. Whatever you do, don't do that.
Take two.
If you're going to do a bit of sparring, it's a very good idea to get yourself a groin cup, just in case you get kicked in the nuts. We're going to counter straight back. Oh, flipper. Yeah. Flipper. Coronas. Technically, that's not my phone. Yeah, now we're going to do individual takes instead of, it was a wide shot, now we're doing single shots. I'll slow it down for you so you understand. Just industry talk, sorry.
Wayne and I try not to have physical fights. We leave that for the gym, and we get along pretty well, so we don't really argue or anything very crazy and take out gloves and have to punch each other, so it's all good.
A lot of people say, when you and Angie have fights, it must be pretty hardcore. It's a little bit of a yelling match, but I just stalk and wait, and eventually she sleeps. And when she sleeps, I smash her. Before me here is pretty much everything you need in the sport of Muay Thai. The first thing I get is a good pair of shorts. You don't want shorts covering the knees, you want to be able to kick nice and freely so there's no grabbing. So Thai shorts are a good way to start. Next thing is your hand wraps. You want to have good protection on your wrists and your knuckles so you don't tweak your wrist or take skin off your knuckles while you're punching the pads or bag. Next would be a good set of gloves for hitting the pads. We like to use just one set here, either 16s or 14s. That way you can hit the pads, hit the bag, and you can also spar on them. Instead of having 14 pairs of gloves, just have one really good set. Thai pads are a great investment if you're doing your kicks, knees, or your Thai boxing rounds in the backyard or in the gym. Next is the focus mitts when you're doing your boxing drills, uppercuts, everything else. And then you got your good investment would be the belly pad, so that protects your trainer while you're doing your teeps and your knees. If you got yourself a partner or a buddy you want to do some sparring with, I'd suggest getting a thick pair of shin pads because this is the best way to protect yourself and your partner. If you're going to do sparring, the next thing I suggest is getting yourself a good groin cup because you never know when that stray knee or kicks might come up the center. From here, next thing is a mouthpiece. You want to protect those pearly whites and not get punched in the face. And last of all, Thai boxing oil. It's hard to get in Australia, but if you can get some, I'd recommend it. Good way of warming up the muscles before you start getting in the training, and the Thai swear by it. So there you go, it's pretty much everything you need. With my tattoos, for the traditional Thai ones, the one on my hand, it represents the arrow punch. So hopefully it's as strong, hits the target, and gives me the power to knock people out with one shot. On my shoulder, this is new. It helps for people to feel comfortable around me, not feel intimidated, and help me to make right choices in life. So when I come to a crossroads, that I know which path to take and not mess up and get myself in any stupid danger that I don't have to be in. I have other ones on my back that are pretty crazy. I got one where apparently I can't get shot, another one where I can't get stabbed, and so far they worked. So I haven't been shot or stabbed since I had them ones. I have Hanuman, 2 Hanumans on my back with prayers. Like the Gemini symbol. One is to say that I'm cool-headed, just relax, take it easy. And the other one's when I go into battle that I cannot be beat, that there's never say die attitude. With my Thai tattoos, they were done by the steel rod. So it's a rod with a little cone with a spike on the end. So when they dip it, the needle holds, and as they poke it through, it just slowly drips into the needle. So it's just a continuous sewing machine sort of feeling. Yeah, it's very painful. I'd rate it. The one on my back, on my lower back, was 2 hours and excruciating. So I got to the last half an hour and I was like, oh no, please stop. This is too crazy. But had to bite down on the old gums and pretend to be the warrior that I'm supposed to be, and end up getting through it. So yeah, it's all good. The biggest thing I say for anyone coming up the ranks and just getting into the ring and into the sport is just love it. You've trained for 6 weeks or a year or whatever, and then you've done all the hard work. You're in the change room and you're buzzing. When you hear your name get called and your song's on, just walk out in front of that crowd and just absorb it. They're all there to watch you do the business. All eyes are on you. This is your moment to shine, and you're going to take that memory with you forever. So there's no point having the jitters and crapping your dacks about it. Get out there and just do it, because that's what you're training for. You're there for one reason. So no point in spoiling it by being too nervous. A good example was when I fought on the King's birthday for the first time. I walked out in front of 100,000 people in Bangkok. I've got up on the ring and I started my Ramoy, and I've walked across and walked as far as I can see was a sea of people, and my knees physically went weak in front of me. They just went out on me. It's like, oh no, not now. And then I had my fight, and close fight, lost on points. And then the second time, I said, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to really get out there and join it. And as I'm doing my Ramoy, big breaths and just looking at the crowd saying, how good is this? So end up having an absolute pearl of a fight, fought so good. And then the next time I fought on the King's birthday, I got out there and I've looked out in front of the crowd and I was like, I reckon you could have fit another 10 people at the back. It's like, where is everyone? It's only 97,000 people here. What's going on? Yeah, I was upset that the place was in chockers. So yeah, it's just all in your head. You can be your own worst nightmare, or you can use it to your advantage and just have fun with it. So you better have fun with it.
His name very well known in history of Muay Thai. He's the first one who fight in Lumpini Stadium. In Lumpini Stadium, a first white man Australian boy. Yeah, first Australian boy fight in Lumpini Stadium. He's the best. He's the best. You know, on his division, I think if anyone try to get over from Wayne, that gotta be. That's why I say to Wayne, you are the great one of China at the moment. People want to get over you.
When I was living in Thailand, every fight was amazing. Fighting for Songchoi and fighting on Thai TV and fighting at Lumpini was such a buzz. King's birthdays hold a very big part in my memories as one of the important fights, because every time you step in front of 100,000 people, it's something you never forget. Beating Orono after he beat me for that world title, as I mentioned before, was a big buzz. I also won a very important tournament at Rajadamnern Stadium in Bangkok called the S1. I fought 3 people in one day in over a 2-hour time slot. I fought a Russian, winning on points. I knocked out the French superstar in 3 rounds, breaking his nose and knocking out 2 teeth with 1 punch. And then I fought a Thai in the final over 5 rounds with elbows. And this Thai bloke had previously beaten me 3 times before that. So it was very scary. And then I ended up beating him on points, no worries. I won $1 million baht, a trophy from the Prime Minister of Thailand, and a world title, all live on Thai TV. Then the next day, every single newspaper covered it. Radio stations, all the taxi drivers and tuk-tuk drivers would pat me on the back walking down the road. That was another dream come true. But yeah, they were very angry at me because a Westerner taking $1 million baht out of the country was not something that they had planned. So I did a radio interview in Thailand. I said they actually interviewed my trainer Sengten, and they were yelling at him, how can you teach a Westerner all our Thai techniques and have him take our money out of our country. How do you feel? And, oh, he's been with me for so long, he's almost like family. What are you even supposed to do? And they didn't accept it. They thought it was like a full sellout. But oh well.
I feel when every time when fighting, I always stay on the back case and I feel very proud, very happy with him. So I sometimes my tear coming out. I never think he become a world champion. Yeah, but now he's the first one, and he's the one I have to give the credit for him. So for him, he's successful, and I guarantee, I can say, he's the first Australian boy to completely retire Muay Thai and become Buddhist monk, and he learned everything, and he can speak Thai. Mostly when I speak Thai, now I speak with Wayne, mostly I speak Thai. I try to getting back so he can speak Thai. Every time when I have a fighting, when I training everything with Sake, we always talk to him in Thai, even in the corner.
The whole fight game, from the time the fight's been called on till the time you step in the ring, it's all about mind games. You try and lay some traps on the internet, on the forums, or you try and psych him out a little bit the way in, or just being friendly to him sometimes freaks them out. They can't handle it. And then it's all about persona in the ring also. Some guys will come out bulletproof for the first round and the second round, and once they realise they can't get past your defences, you watch their whole demeanour change in their face and their body language, and once you see that change, and then you know you pretty much got them. So yeah, there's a lot of elements in fighting, not just the physical part, but yeah, the whole messing up of the head is that's probably the most fun part of the fighting as well. In Thailand, the massages before a fight are absolutely ridiculous. It's just all deep tissue, and with Thai boxing oil. It's already 35 degrees Celsius heat-wise, and then you lay down after training, and you don't want to have a sweat up, otherwise you're going to die. And they don't just a little bit on the hands, they absolutely bathe you in Thai oil, and then it's agony for an hour. But if you can withstand the pain, about 10 minutes later, your whole body's just nice and loose and relaxed. And come fight time, it's absolutely amazing. 20 minutes before you walk out, a bit of Thai oil, a bit of Vaseline rubbed all over your body. Your muscles are super relaxed. You're warmed up completely, and yeah, you're ready to rock and roll. And you got a good shine on with the Vaseline. You're slippery, so the opponent's attacks slide off. And then as you're walking out to the ring with the lights and the smoke and everything else, you fully just glow. So you want to try and intimidate your opponent as much as possible, and with a good physique and a little bit of oil, it sort of enhances all the muscles. I have one superstition, is I like to pray the night before my fight. I pray the night before because I'm worried how far away heaven is from earth. And I'm scared that if I pray during the day, it's not going to have time to get there in time for the God or the gods to hear my prayer. So I say that the night before, and if I don't say it, the next day I wake up, I forgot, and usually I get my ass kicked. But if I say my prayers, yeah, good things happen. So that's probably the only one. The rest of it is just relaxing, staying relaxed, having fun, having a bit of a joke with the boys, not too serious. Just before you walk out, get in the zone, fire yourself up, get that fire roaring in the belly, but trying to keep that poker face so everyone thinks you're just nice, cool and calm on the outside. But when the bell rings, you already got the fire burning, ready to go. My dad had a very hard upbringing coming up. He was I think the fifth child, and of a family that didn't really want him. So they didn't have a room for him. His bed as a kid growing up was a bath with a door on top of it with a blanket and a pillow. So it was pretty hardcore. by the age of 13, he moved out of home and started his jockey apprenticeship. Once he got to a certain age, his parents seen that he was being successful as a jockey, and all of a sudden he was the favourite son, and they wanted to borrow money and get money off him, and that's when Dad pretty much turned his back on him. Him and my mum, and then Dad was the jockey, Mum was a horse trainer. They had a very good relationship for many, many years. Then I was born. They looked after me to the best of their abilities. Dad retired from being a jockey because he couldn't make weight all the time. It was killing him in the sauna every week. So he took over his mum role, and they become joint trainers of the horses. We moved around a lot when I was growing up because they were always bettering themselves. Every job was a bit better than the last. So lots of travelling. When I first started in the sport, Dad was very supportive, and then I had a few losses in the early days, and then Dad didn't come and support me anymore because he didn't want to watch me get hurt. Went to Thailand, started doing all right in Thailand. Come back to Australia, and then Dad was he was not my dad anymore, but my best mate. When I come back, we had that maturity for each other. I was no longer his son. We just had that bond. And then every time I fought, anywhere in Australia, he'd come and support me. He flew to Japan one time to watch me fight in K1. It was very sad when he got sick, and when he passed, it was heartbreaking because I lost not only my best mate, but my dad, and it just sucks. Just cancer sucks. After Dad passed, and at the wake, a friend of ours came up to me and gave me a tap on the shoulder, and he said, there was two things your father wanted. One of the wishes he had was for you to be successful in the Contender. Another one was to see his grandson born, Jesse James. And luckily, just before he passed, we took the little fella. Angie got an early release from hospital. Got to see him for only 10 minutes because we're in the oncology ward at the hospital, and it was pretty hardcore ward to be in with a newborn baby with no immune system. So he died living both his wishes, and it was heartbreaking.